guys, this video is going to be a book review of Wool by Hugh Howey. I'd seen this book all over the place in bookshops and it looked really interesting, so I thought I'd pick it up, and I finally, after so long taking to read it, finished it. Here's the review. Wool is about a silo in a nuclear wasteland. This silo is filled with quite possibly the last people alive in the entire world. And they all live under quite strict rules, as they have done for generations. Those who break the rules, who dream, who innovate, and who want to go outside, are sent outside to clean the cameras that give them the only view of the outside world. This is a death sentence. The silo has a mayor, a sheriff, and many other essential people like mechanics and an IT department. As the novel starts, the current sheriff, a man named Halston, declares that he wants to be the next one to do the cleaning, following in the footsteps of his dead wife, who did the same thing previously 3 years ago. After he does so, dying as literally everyone expected, the book focuses on the search for his replacement, which leads us to our primary protagonist, Jules. Jules is an engineer from the deepest part of the silo, and her appointment sets several groups at odds with each other. And after not long at all, Jules is sent out to clean by the interim mayor, who's also the head of the IT department. However, Jules survives. What happens next? You'll have to read and find out. I really enjoyed this book. It was really quite a fascinating setting, despite being basically just a hollow metal tube in the ground. The difference between all the levels in the silo made it really feel quite vibrant and real, because each of them did different things and felt different things towards the others. The mids were aspiring to be ups and feeling like they were better than the low downs and stuff, and there was all sorts of stuff like that, and it gave it a real feel like the District in the Hunger Games, because they all felt different things to each other, and it made it feel really vibrant, really like a real place. I found almost all of the characters in the book really quite interesting people to actually be around. You got to know them really well, you got to know them on an intimate level. Jules was really, really, really fleshed out, and you knew most things about her, and you could sort of tell this is actually how she's going to do this next thing. And her character development really reflected this. Like, she was a fixer, and she did things that demanded fixing, and she actually, you know, it really worked. And, like, her character development was realising that she wasn't just fixing things in the mechanics and the engineering, she was able to fix a lot more than that. She was able to fix things from the top of the silo down, and really good. Really enjoyed her character development. Solo was another character I particularly enjoyed, what with his problems having been caused by being left on his own from an early age up until the present day when he's in his 50s, and never really growing up. But he was left alone because everyone else was killing each other all the time. Not a good thing. The way that he acted and just everything about him showed what went wrong in his silo and gave you a hint as to how things were going in the other silo and where they were eventually going to be going. I also felt that the concept of this particular story worked a lot better in this book rather than in some other books where it's not really worked quite as well. Post-apocalyptic stuff is very interesting, but a lot of things don't do it so well. But a lot of this book covered common problems and topics that often get glossed over in other post-apocalyptic work, such as how people survived, how there is a chance of reproduction, and how people cope with things like literature, where there's very different mammals than the ones that they know, because it's been generations and they've never seen things like elephants and tigers and things. They only really know dogs. However, there are two things that I didn't really like so much about this book. The first thing is Bernard. Bernard is the head of the IT department, and he's a very weak villain. He's cruel and stupid, and those aren't combinations that work very well in a villain often, because you can have a cruel villain, and you can have a stupid villain, but the two should not mix very well, because cruel, stupid villains are only good for bit-part thug-type people. They don't work so well for the actual big main villain. He's the main villain. He should not just be being ridiculously idiotic, such as sending Jules out in the cleaning like that. He should have known that that was going to actually cause some sort of problem. He was basically, as TV Tropes calls it, holding the villain ball, and there was no real reason he couldn't have been a clever character. I feel that despite some of the more well-intentioned stuff he mentions to Lucas later on, he was just an idiot holding the villain ball. And speaking of Lucas, I didn't particularly like him either, because he was clearly starting out as a Peter XP from the Hunger Games, again, and kind of went along with some of that whole stuff, and he was clearly mainly there to be a romantic subplot. Mainly. There was only one real thing that made him more interesting to me, which was his shooting of McLean in the battle. And this book didn't even really explore his feelings about that and how everyone else would feel towards him because of that. It was not explored well, and he felt like a karma Houdini. He didn't get any sort of comeuppance about his killing of a person. Everyone else, mostly, did. He didn't. Hopefully, however, this will be explored in the future books, because I'm definitely going to read them, and just, yeah, really, really looking forward to doing that. Overall, I would have to say that I really, really enjoyed this book. It did have a moment or two where it was a bit, but overall, really good. Really, really enjoyed it. I'm really looking forward to reading the other books in the series when I get them. Let me know in the comments down below what you thought of this book. Was Bernard as weak a villain as I thought? What did you think of Jules? Let me know down below. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and that you remember to like and share it and subscribe to my channel. Click on the thumbnails down below to see other videos by me, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.